Okay, this is Kristen Colazar and Jess Wilson. We are conducting interviews for Dr. Greg Wilson's public history course on the topic of Vietnamese refugees living in Akron, Ohio. We are doing the interview at the North Hill Library. The date is March 19th, 2016, and the time is 12:16 p.m. And first, can you please state your name and can you spell it for us, please?
Definitely. My name Bishnu, first name Bishnu, and that spells B-I-S-H-N-U, and the last name Sunar, S-U-N-A-R, Bishnu Sunar.
So, can you tell me what your current occupation is?
Presently, I'm working as employment case manager in International Institute of Akron.
Do you enjoy working there?
Yeah, really, I just enjoy working there as employment case manager because recently I've started working, so I love working there.
Yeah. How did you come across that job? How did you start working there?
Prior to employment case manager, when I came to the United States, I started working in manufacturing company to gain some experiences. Mm-hmm. And I worked around 6 months in manufacturing company, and I've been through the training, like interpreters training, and I got a job in the International Institute of Akron, and I worked for 1.5 years as interpreter. Then there was opening for employment case manager, and I was one of the candidates. And fortunately, I just got that job, and I started working there.
Now, what kind of work do you have to do there?
There, like for the immigrants, the people, those who have been living here for 5 years, we help them placing for the different job, like mostly in manufacturing.
Okay. Why do you guys aim more for the manufacturing jobs?
Because whenever the people they come to United States, they are confined with limited skills and experiences. So generally, working in manufacturing requires less skill, less experiences. So from that point of view, we just look for that.
What is your biggest challenge working there with transitioning people?
A bigger challenge is like presently to speak as employment case manager. Like language has been one of the barrier. Like people whenever they come here, the problem is language. Like they have limited English language, and next the transportation, like to go to the job and come back. That's why we are helping them, giving a carpooling. Like we just find one of the driver and fill up the rooms finding the people. And next problems, one of the driver, those who drive the car to the job, is sick or get fired. And those who go to the job, rest, all of them have to. They are compelled to leave the job because of transportation. So that has been quite a challenge.
Now, do you work with any, like, with public transportation systems or anything like that?
We tried a lot, but that is not accessible to the place where they have to go, you know. So because of that, so we're not having that sort of, let's say, public transportation.
Okay, gotcha. What do you find most rewarding about working there?
What do you say?
Like most rewarding. What do you like enjoy the most about working there?
Oh, just like I just come across the community people, most of them from our community people. Mm-hmm. And my intention when I came here with the aim that I have to work for my community. Back to my country, I was a teacher, working for helping for the community. And after coming here, okay, I just had a kind of dream. I must work with the community. So presently, the post where I'm working, I'm helping those people from our community. Employing them means making them self-sufficient. You know, that's kind of what I just enjoy.
Where do you currently live?
I just live in Cuyahoga Falls,
okay.
And the address is 2480 21st Street.
Okay, perfect. Do you live with your immediate family?
Exactly. I have my mom, I have my son, and I have my newly daughter. So I just love staying with them.
Is it important, do you find working with the communities and with other people that it's important to keep those family units kind of together when they come over?
Yeah, because that makes them feel secure and kind of, you know, self-reliant whenever they are with their family. Like whenever they come across any problems, And whenever we have an anchor relative or some family, then they just get help, and that's a kind of, you know, feeling self-reliant and feeling happy too. That's why.
Yeah. So where were you born?
I was born in Bhutan.
When were you?
I was born in Bhutan, and in the year 1980, I still remember.
Okay. Where were your parents born?
They were also born in Bhutan, and let me tell you the district. It is Sarbang district, okay, where I was born. And my father, he was born in Bhutan in the district called Sarbang, and my mom, she was born in, we just say Changka, that's the particular name, okay? That's the name of the place in Bhutan where my mom was born.
Okay. Do you remember, or what do you remember about your life and your family's life before moving into
Yeah, I was 9 years old when I left Bhutan, okay? And as far as my memory strikes, that my father was mechanic. He used to deal with radio, television. We had an electronic shop. And my mom she was a housewife, and I was pretty young, and I used to go to school, and we had a lot of our relatives living around. And we had a house in a marketplace where there was a shop. So only that just comes in my mind because I was only 9 years old.
Okay. Okay. I wanted to ask you a few questions about life once you knew you had to go to the refugee camp. And do you remember anything about the process of how you were going to move there at all?
A pretty small thing comes in my mind because I was pretty small when I left the country, okay? Like, as I said, I was 9 years old, okay? And according to my memory and what it is, you know, the reason is like in the year 1988, still I remember, okay? The government of Bhutan brought a policy called One Nation, One Language. That brought only one language, that is Dzongkha, which was not our language. Most of us, like let's say the Nepali people, were in southern part of the Bhutan. And when the government of Bhutan said one nation, one language, only one dress, one language, because of that policy, people in the southern Bhutan, we were called Lokchompa, okay? And we were greatly affected. Like some of them lost their citizenship. And our language, Nepali language in the curriculum of education was outlawed. They didn't let us to have study our language, that thing. And the next, dress. We had our own dress. But as the policy brought up, like one nation, one policy, that, you know, evicted us, you know, like we were not given a kind of rights, no freedom. Consequently, people from our community, people, those who are in Bhutan, though we are bona fide Bhutanese, okay, but then also government of Bhutan, they just evicted and they didn't give rights to go for education. As I was in grade 3, okay, and I had to leave the my school. I was not allowed. And likewise, it was all messed, and people were totally confused. Situation when, you know, like it was unrest. People started to, there was question everybody's mind, what's happening? Why we're not allowed to speak our language, Nepali? Why we're not allowed to read our textbook Nepali in the curriculum of education? And why we're asked to wear only one dress? That's a question. And with that, okay, and government of Bhutan said, now you don't have any rights. And before than that also they stated CO, certificate of origin, CO. You have to bring CO to be here as a bona fide citizen. Though we had the citizen, however, they brought up that sort of things. And our parents, even my mom, she had to go back to her birthplace to find out the CO, certificate of origin, to bring. And she bought it. And there were some people, and those who were not able to bring that CO, okay, they enforced to leave the country, okay. Though they said you have to leave the country, but there was a kind of form, a voluntary migration form, and that was compelled them to sign that so that government of Bhutan would have good impression. No, they just left the country voluntarily. I didn't enforce, just to make that kind of impression. They just did so, and people started living since then. And with regard to my family, when the mom, she bought the citizen of origin, let's say certificate of origin, and that was given to the head of our district administration. That was accepted, and I was reading, okay, but then the school authority said you are not allowed to read. And whenever I asked the reason, because my father came and they didn't have any clarification. No, there is no reason, they said, and I had to come to my home and sit there because we just had an electronic shop. And we were staying then, and still I remember it was in the year 1990, December, and the date is 30th December. And usually in our place where we were residing, Sunday was a market day. Market day means where the shop, they come on the street, we open the shop, and there'll be rush of people for buying, selling, better system, something like that. It was in the Sunday, and the shop was open, okay, and my father was busy dealing with the customer, like electronics, and there were a lot of people rushing. And one of the, let's say, authority, let's say people from administration came first and asked my dad, okay, within 1 hour, okay, within 1 hour you have to leave the country. They said so, and he been. And father asked why. He didn't. He raised the hand not to ask any question. Just 1 hour, leave the country. That was his statement. Then he went, and father came. He collected all my mom, and he said, so we're actually by one hour. Got totally confused. There was a scream, yell everywhere. My mom, my sister, me, myself got totally confused. Okay, nothing, where to go, this. And after 1 hour, they came with all armed force. There was an army, okay, military with a gun, they came. And they were about to padlock the door. And my mom, she screamed a lot. She denied, however, she was dragged out, okay. And luckily, few things, we were very small, but some of the friends, some of the relatives, they came and they helped taking out some of the things like clothes and some few stuff from the house. Then they came after 1 hour, they padlocked. And we didn't have any sense, and the father was totally confused, okay. And he just had one truck, big truck, okay. And whatever the things was out on the ground, it was all scattered. All was put in the truck. And I was totally young and confused where I was going. What's wrong with this? Why military they came? Why they padlocked? We did nothing wrong. And they simply padlocked and they went. And what they said means, we don't want to see your family anymore over here, this place. You have to leave as soon as possible. Then everything, whatever was taken out from the house, was loaded in a truck. And it was almost, it was 10:30 in the morning when they came and said. And by the time we loaded up everything, few things, it was around 2 p.m. Then we moved. Then after that, we just came directly to the Nepal with, like, without having no destination, no dreams, where we are going, nothing else, having any vision, okay, with limited amount of money that we had, okay, because all the things, precious things we left inside the house, it was locked, okay. So we came, and on the next day, we left by 31st December, on 30th December we left, 31st on the way traveling, and January 1st, we arrived in the camp, which was unbelievable, like in a forest, like a ghost area, okay, and we were all dumped there, and that's how we just left. So it's pretty much, whenever I just remember, I've got a lot of things, but this thing comes in my mind when I just.
Okay, and do you remember the name of the camp that you and your family?
Yeah, first, over 100, more than 100,000 Bhutanese refugee, we came to Nepal and got scattered in 7 camps. And I was settled in Beldangi 2 Extension, the name of the camp. Beldangi 2 Extension, that's the camp when I got and stayed there.
And can you tell me about what it was like to live there?
Oh, as I said, it was so crowded. so crowded, limited food, okay, because we didn't have any money, we didn't have any sources. So we were looked after by UNHCR, United Nations High Commission for Refugee, and in association with Caritas Nepal for the education. Like bi-weekly, they used to distribute the food, rice, some oil, very limited. And when we didn't have anything to prepare that, so most of us have to, like, we're compelled to go to the forest to collect the firewood, the driftwood, to burn the fire and cook. And like here houses, so I said it was all crowded, okay, and there was no kind of good sanitation. Fortunately, Caritas Nepal brought a good education project plan, and I started my education from grade 4. As I left grade 3, started from grade 4 in the camp. And education-wise, it was quite good because the medium was English right from the beginning, right from the, let's say, kindergarten. And after grade 10, we had no any future, like for the further study. To talk about myself, okay, as I completed grade 10, only opportunity for us, because legally we are not allowed to work in Nepal, okay, where we sit as a refugee. And legally expected was private boarding sector, private school, where we had a kind of good qualification in the camp because of Caritas Nepal. And after grade 10, I just started teaching in one of the school, and I earned little amount of money. So with that money, I did corresponding my college, grade 11 and 12. Still I remember the college, that is Global Educational Academy, and I was the first batch in that, grade 11 and 12. And I worked as a teacher, earned some amount of money, and I spent that in the college. So like that, I just completed grade 12. And it was quite hard for me to complete my graduation, bachelor degree. Then I continued my teaching profession, and I collected some money. Then I did my bachelor degree, and there was two options, like whatever money I earn, I have to spend little amount to my education, little back to my family, those who are staying in the camp, because the food was not sufficient, okay, it was all limited, and we had to buy the clothings, and we had to buy some other basic things, you know, apart from the things that we were given, it was not sufficient. So that's how let's say the positive aspect is, luckily I got chance to complete my education despite a lot of hindrance, problem, running out of money, a lot of things, okay. But living in the camp, it was so miserable, still I say, okay. It was so crowded, you know, and spread of communicable diseases, and we had been sufferer of house on fire, a lot of things. Like if one of the houses caught on fire, the whole line, the whole, you know, the colony was caught on fire, because we are not that much taken care, okay, in this beside the forest, in an open field, we were kept all, so not that much security, and you know, totally insecure, like we didn't have any secure future staying in a camp, no good sanitation. However, we tried from ourselves to attain further degree, to attain further bachelor degree, and to attend some kind of trainings, you know. And luckily, I worked as a teacher in the camp also. I taught for grade, see, the scenario is, as I completed grade 12, I came to the camp and taught for 3 years in grade 9 and 10. This thing, grade 12 students coming back to the camp and teaching, because that was the compulsion, because it was tough time to find a teacher. And my intention was to work for the community. So I, though working as a teacher, we got not a salary, just incentive, certain amount of money, just incentive. So I worked for 3 years. Then I thought, I think working, yeah, I just taught for 3 years. Then I moved to quite further places in Nepal. That's called Pokhara. I just been there. I worked as a teacher in secondary school because I just had a lot of experiences already working as a teacher. And I moved to Pokhara. It's one of the beautiful places. That's where it's full of natural beauty. And I just been there. And I got a job as a teacher, simple teacher. Then I started working. They saw some potential on me, and they gave me as exam coordinator. And I started looking all over the exam coordinator in the school. The school name is Shining Star Secondary Boarding School. It still is there. It's really rising up. Then I started as a teacher. I earned some amount of money. Then whatever amount of money, I have to send it back to my family, to the camp, because I had my family, my mom, my brothers, my sister-in-law. They were there, and they were not that much educated, all illiterate. They were in the camp. And most of the people in the camp, the only job was to work as a general labor, like in construction, in open field, like digging, carrying the sack, carrying the bricks, helping in construction. That was so tough and risky job. There was no kind of safety. So I started working in Pokhara. Then, in the meantime, there just came one opportunity for a training, because orator, to speak in front of the public, helping people was my kind of aim. So I got a chance to go on a training for RJ, radio jockey, and VJ, video jockey. And I got one small part-time job in the morning time as a radio jockey, running one informative show. Still I remember that show called Tourism Revival, because Pokhara was one of the beautiful city. And I just got that chance for half an hour show to run that show after I attended last minute training. Then I started running that show. It was in the morning time, 7:30 to 8 o'clock, and the show was Tourism Revival. I started running that show, and I got some experiences. Then back and forth, because every 6 months, every 2 months, I have to go to the camp and see what's going on. Okay, I have to talk with the family and give some money, and back and forth. I have to make. It was quite tight schedule. I was working from 10 to 4 as a full-time teacher in one of the private body, and morning, evening time, I was giving time to the radio as running as a, because that was my aim, and I was learning something, So like that, I just gained experiences, and later on, I had to leave that place and go back to my family, because I knew that most of them were leaving the camp, coming to third country resettlement process. So I worked around 9 years in Pokhara, where I had a lot of experiences as a teacher, as a RJ, working as a, let's say, the RJ on radio. So after 9 years, I just got back, and I stayed in the camp for 2 years. Then I had a process, and this came here. Yes.
And do you have any family members that are still in these camps, or are they moved here?
Almost all, but I have my sister, still she's in camp, and sometimes I Skype them with limited resources, because in the camp they don't have any internet access, so they have to come along down to the marketplace. They have to pay some money, and we Skype and we talk. So I have my sister is still in the camp.
Okay, and how many years did you say you were in camp?
23 years altogether.
So the process of actually leaving the camps to come to the U.S., how can you describe that process?
Okay, after living for 23 years, there was no any kind of solution, because we had a hope of going back to the country Bhutan, because we had our grandparents, and our family members, and the respected, because we had a lot of property left in the Bhutan where we were born, like the house, complete house, a lot of land, a lot of property. Until 23 years, we all had a hope. One day we'll be back to our country, Bhutan. So there had been a lot of bilateral talk between Bhutan and our country, Bhutan and Nepal, bilateral talk, how to solve this Bhutanese issue. But having gone through so many bilateral talk, there was not any conclusion. Okay, and at last, there was 3 options came: local integration, repatriation, and third country resettlement. 3 options. Some of them said we want to be repatriated, and they are in the camp. Okay, they are still having a hope repatriation. Some said local integration, and that was completely out of question, because local integration, because people in the place Nepal where we were staying, they had cities and everything else. However, it was tough for them to exist hand to mouth. It was a problem for them. So our family, we choose, and me myself, I was let's say having some kind of education, and we had a family discussion. Okay, now the time comes, okay, to choose one of the options for our future, for our children. We stayed here for 23 years, Government of Bhutan turned a deaf ear, turned a blind eye, didn't care what's going on. Government of Bhutan was not in a position to accept us back again. So now only ultimate solution is third country resettlements. And we just choose, okay, if we choose these options like third country resettlement process, then definitely for our future upcoming generation, for our children, they may have a secured future. So we had a discussion. So we choose third country resettlement, and that was initiated. That was initiated by IOM, International Organization of Migration. So through that organization, we just came here in the US.
So were you able to choose which country to go to?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And and most of the whenever we see majority of the people, they just choose doing that in the US, United States. Mm-hmm. So most of our anchor relatives, our friends, they also choose US. So with that, we just came to US. But there was options to choose the country.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Did you automatically come to Akron, or did you relocate somewhere else in the United States?
No, I just came directly to the Akron because I just had an anchor relative already. Right. I'm here in the Akron, so I came directly to Akron.
Okay. Did you feel welcomed when you came to the community? Do you feel like the Akron community was welcoming?
Yeah, definitely, because prior to my arrival to Akron, my anchor relatives, they were already here. Mm-hmm. So whenever I just came, and the other local community, even my anchor relative, they were so welcoming, they just welcome. So I just felt like very much excited when I just came here, definitely.
Tell me about some of your expectations you had about the area, either the United States or just Akron in general.
Prior to my arrival here, yes. Like before coming to I had read only about US. It's advanced country, well organized, systematic, and I had a kind of a vision like, yeah, I have to continue my further education, and I'll have secure future in terms of employment, and on top of that, secure future for my children, for my coming generation. Because back to the camp, we had no any future. Having gained to the degree, having gained to the options was only to work as a teacher. That's only in private. That was because legally we're not allowed. So I had that sort of expectation, like, okay, if I just go to US, that definitely for myself and for my family and for my children, for my upcoming generation, for our community people, that have at least secure future. So that was the expectation that I had before coming to the US.
Do you think that your expectations have been met?
Definitely. Because my children, they have been going to school and they are bringing a lot of changes, and even to our community people, we are trying to be systematic. Back to our country, we're not that much systematic because of situation that made so. We were not that much organized. Like we didn't have any schedule. Okay, like we are dependent. But coming to here, we learn a lot of things, like one should be independent, one should have proper schedule, one should be well organized. Okay, so from that point of view, to our community people, from my family, others, really they have been benefited a lot. That's what I feel.
Okay, and how did you settle in Akron when you first got here?
When I came first here, I came through the organization where I'm working here as presently as employment case man. That's International Institute of Akron. That was the organization that welcomed and accepted me. When I came here, my case manager, she received my family, and we were brought here. And along with case manager, there were a lot of anchor relatives, those who were already here prior to my arrival. And the International Institute of Organized, let's say IIA, really they helped me a lot, taking to the home, showing and taking around the city, Akron city, and making me used to with the things, So really, International Institute of Akron, I'm just thankful, because really International Institute of Akron helped me, let's say my family, to settle well in this Akron, because I had no idea when I came here in the beginning. It was new place, new people. So really later on it just came easy, and now it's quite easy going.
Okay, when you did get here, did you go back to school or to college at all?
I just thought once, I just made up my mind to study, let's say, one of the subject. But in my family, I'm the only one. I have to look after my mom. My mom, she's not that much well, she's sick. And my spouse, and I have a small son. And I was compelled, to work. And I started working, but I have a plan to go back to the college because, as I said, I have a kind of aim, and I have already had an experience working as a radio jockey and radio, and that's my aim. So let's see in coming days. Like now, I'm getting a job, and I have to find out the time for my study to make the career quite stronger. And I have a plan. Let's see what the time says whenever it comes in the future.
Okay. And what was your initial response to when you came into Akron? And did it has it stayed the same or has it changed since you?
Yeah, when I came here, as I said, it was totally new. I was totally confused where I am, despite my family members, they were already here. Like it took a lot of time for me to figure out the routes, where does it go, and the next thing, the system out here, it was so well organized, and like it was so tough for me in the beginning. And next, the language, the action. Though I was an English teacher, I just taught English back to my country for so long, but coming to here, the accent, the people they speak, it was quite tough for me to understand in the beginning. It took not a long time, but that was the quite thing. And next thing was transportation. My goodness, all the people were busy. Even my uncle relative, they had their own schedule. Hardly they helped me in the beginning to go for a shopping, come back. But later on, I had to use public bus facilities, and I just realized, yes, transportation, we have to learn driving. It's very important thing. So consequently, I just got a permit, and I learned, and I got a car. Then things went easy later on, but it was quite tough in the beginning. But I was always optimistic, positive, and everything is going well now.
And can you tell me, how did you start to learn English, and how difficult at first was it? And then as you learned it, did it get more simpler?
Yeah, back to my country, I had a passion on English, my literature, grammar portion, and I started teaching that subject, and I thought that was my, let's say, favorite subject. And apart from teaching, I used to research some of the words. Sometime, whenever I have a time, I just study dictionary to have some vocabulary enhancement, to increase some of the words. And coming over here also, English, I just been to IIA, International Institute of Akron. They have advanced class. And there's one teacher who teaches very advanced English, like how to structuralize the sentence grammatically, literally. And I attended hardly about 1 month, because after that I had to go for a job. So I attended 1 month. That has really helped me a lot. And I came across a lot of people talking, and through that I easily got used to with the accent, like the way they speak. So that's how now I'm getting quite used to.
Okay. And then since you learned English and everything, when you talk to your family, do you talk English to them, or do you talk?
In our culture, we always try to maintain our culture. That's Nepali, let's say, language, Nepali food, Nepali dresses, some cultural practices. That's what we wish, and we have been doing so. So apart from my job, my friends, at home, I always speak my native language, that is Nepali. But my son, he's in grade 2, but he likes to speak in English. Now I'm worried in near future he may not speak our language Nepali. That's my big concern. But with regard to my uncle relative, my family, they don't understand English, so I just use my Nepali language. But however, now if they hear somebody talking in English, they understand because they come across whenever they go for a shopping, come to office, whatever they see, like they are compelled to speak somehow English. So because of that, they are used to, but the primary language they speak, that's Nepali.
And did you already have family and friends in Akron before you got here, or were you the first one to come and then everybody else followed?
No, I had, as I said, I had a lot of my family members, anchor relatives, my uncle, my grandparents, all they were here prior to my arrival. So it was quite easy. They helped me a lot, in terms of transportation, managing houses, and everything else. So they helped. So they were here before.
Okay. And then, what have been the hardest things that you had to learn from coming here?
I don't say hardest thing. Like I didn't come across any hardest thing in the beginning because I had a lot of family members. But for me, somehow, not hardest, but some harder, like to obtain a license and get used to with the driving. That was a big problem for me, but it took not that much long. But in the beginning, I considered that as a hard thing, how to obtain a driver license permit and get started to drive the car over here, to see the routes everywhere, traffic. We didn't have that traffic back to our country, so it was quite problem, let's say hard. I don't say harder, but that came as usual later. But that was quite hard for me, get used to with the routes and getting the vehicle and running, driving like that.
Okay. What are your favorite parts about living in Akron and coming over into the United States?
First, the beautiful people like you all, okay, and really they're helpful. They're helpful, and I have been learning so many things. Like we talk about the soft skills, okay, though we maintain, but how to bring into the practices. After we come across the cross-culture people, I have learned so many things, okay, and beautiful people. And really, Akron is really beautiful places. We say North Hill. It's like a lot of the immigrants, they are here. And now we can find our Nepali food over here because a lot of Nepali stores here. And the new things is like the food, like we just say pizza, hamburger, sandwich, Mexican, chicken nuggets, something like that. And I'm used to with that, and that is really, I love that part. Apart from our Nepali food, sometimes I just prefer to take that. I think I'll be used to. And next is snow. The first time I experienced over here coming to the United States, the snow, my goodness, it's so chilly cold, but I just love that snow because the place where I was in Bhutan and back to Nepal, I didn't have chance to experience in the life. So first time I experienced the snow here. So I just love the nature. I just love the people. So everything is really good.
And since you have arrived in Akron, are you becoming a U.S. citizen, or are you already a citizen here?
I will become. Now it's. I just came in 2014. Okay, so maybe after 2 years, and that's my aim, and I have to become so that I'll have a complete, let's say, identity. Now I'm complete. Something that's to make feel that and so waiting that day.
Overwhelming does that feel for you?
Yeah, exactly. After I get a citizenship, then I can proudly say now I am the citizen of the US. I'm American, I can say. So I just feel really excited and overwhelmed, when that day comes, definitely.
Are you taking like a lot of the citizenship classes and stuff like that through the?
For us, like I don't have to go through because there are a lot of resources, and if I go through, I can make out. But for our community people, okay, as I'm working under Bhutanese Community Association of Akron, we have our community association, Bhutanese Association, and I'm working as assistant secretary, and we are providing the free classes, citizenship classes for our community people. So that whenever they have a time, they go to our office, and we have volunteer teacher. They teach the lesson free of cost, and they get classes, and so that it will be easy whenever they go for a citizenship interview. So we are just doing that, citizenship classes.
So kind of talking about some of your cultural practices that are maybe really important to keep going since you've resettled in the U.S. What are some that are important to you?
Yeah, like coming to the U.S., still we are maintaining, we're keeping up our cultural practices. Like festivals, we just say, okay, like whenever we come across a major festival, like we say Tihar, it's a festival of light. We usually celebrate that. and we have been doing since my arrival also, all the family. And next, dasai is a kind of blessing from the seniors, okay, and such type of things. And wedding, whenever we go for the marriage, like wedding, we do what we used to do back to our country. We're doing the same. And any cultural practices, like when the newly born baby borns, what are the things that we used to do? Like we call a priest, okay, and we kind of perform a name giving ceremony, and I also did the same. So we are maintaining all, and we are doing the same, and I don't feel any difference about that.
Are there any ways that you're kind of adopting any new customs or traditions into your community?
Like here, coming to US, like we say Christmas, Happy New Year, okay, like we used to give less priority. But coming to here, as I becoming used to, yeah, Christmas, it's a kind of event altogether we have to celebrate. And Happy New Year and something like Halloween, yeah, I'm just getting used to with that. Hopefully, I'll be used to later as I stay longer.
What is kind of, so going off those holidays, what's maybe the one that you kind of enjoyed the most?
Yeah, let's say Christmas, like when we have Christmas party, definitely. And the New Year Eve, that too, really, I love that.
Fun night.
Yeah.
What are some similarities and differences that you've noticed between like your home country and the US?
Similarity, I don't see that much, but we talk about the disparities. Like now it is geographically, now it is totally, now it's day, and in the back to Akron it's totally night. People are sleeping. That's one of the thing, you know, like here day, that's a night after, that's a difference. And the country where I was born, it was all mountainous country, having big mountains. Okay, but here, place Akron, it's all plain, you know. That's the thing. And next, we didn't used to have snow back to country, okay, but here I say snow, and that's quite the thing. And you know, like here, which people use only one language, that's English. But there, apart from Nepali, we used to have our own community-based language. Some people, okay. So that thing. So mostly the differences I just see over here, okay. So in terms of custom also, like it's quite, and next thing, it's quite, as I said before also, we're not like, we used to have a nuclear family out there, like having the grandparents everywhere. But here, sorry, not joint family out there, okay. But here nuclear, like independent, husband, wife, that's it. Parents, they have separate, but we need to have, that's kind of, you know, different culture or practices, what to say, that I feel, that I've realized. Still we have that here. Maybe later on we may come to that practices, have a nuclear family, independent family. So that I have seen here, okay. Here I see independent life, finish. Parents, they have their own, children, they have their own after they're 18. But there, grandparents, parents, children, grandchildren, something like that. We still have a kind of chain, you know. And whatever the grandparents, we have to order, we have to follow. That is the chain of command. But here, independent. And that's what I think will come across used to with that also. That's somehow different, you know.
Do you think that's better to have that?
Yeah, because coming over here, once we say one should be independent, whenever that policy comes upon an individual, and that has to be independent life. That's what I say. Because we should, whenever we say I'm independent, I should have my own rights to decide for myself, not my parents, not my grandparents to interfere. No, you don't work, you don't study, you remain here. Not like that. I think that's what I get. You know.
Okay. Makes sense. So, how do you see yourself now? Do you see yourself more as? Do you see, like, how do you identify as Nepalese, Bhutanese, American?
Now I'm Bhutanese because I haven't, like, let's say Bhutanese, let's say, because I haven't got my citizen. So hopefully in the days near future, I'd like to identify myself as a Bhutanese American, you know, so that whenever I just have the citizen.
Gotcha. Do you maintain any ties with like other Bhutanese anywhere else in the US?
Yeah, in other states, okay, like in different part of states, we have a lot of friends, a lot of relatives, and sometimes we go there whenever we have a vacation. They come here, we spend the time, and whenever we have a family gathering, as we talked about cultural practices like wedding, some kind of festival, either we go there or they come, we gather and we have a kind of celebration. So we are in touch even within the US.
So do you travel a lot in the
Exactly.
US?
Like whenever we have a vacation, like even in the weekend, nearby city, like even Columbus, Cleveland, Chicago, we have a lot of friends. It's a matter of 6 hours. We just go and come. They come here. Sometimes we go to interstate also when we have long vacation.
So since you're traveling a lot, what are some of the differences maybe that you've noticed throughout the cities with the Bhutanese community? Like, do you see any differences between?
I don't see, yeah, because culturally, socially, the way they adjust, way they are living with the community, it's almost same. That's why whenever, suppose if I go to Texas and if I go to our Buddhist community, I feel, yeah, I'm in Akron, because I see some of the cultural thing, you know, social food, places, even the shop. So to talk about our community people, okay, they are not changed, and in state they are similar, less culturally and socially. That's why.
Okay. What's been your favorite place to travel to in the U.S.? Like another city or something. What's been your favorite?
Yeah, I just travel very few places like Chicago. I said, okay, and Missouri. I have been there, and I have a plan to go to New York City once, definitely. There. I'd like to be there once.
Yes, lots to see.
What did you see when you went there? Like what kind of, where did you go to New York City or did you go to?
Yeah, I just been through the city. Let's say talk with Chicago, okay, and it was so crowded, you know, and the city was so busy. Not as Akron, okay, it was so busy, rush, you know, some kind of hustle, you know, like because of rush of vehicle. And, you know, it seemed quite well advanced than what the city we are living here in Akron, the Chicago. It seemed quite advanced.
And where would you like to travel in the future? Like any places you were hoping to go to?
Even within the U.S.?
It could be in the U.S., a different country.
Oh, yeah, Australia, because I have my friend. And we just had a band back to our place, country, okay? But when I was in camp, 4 or 5 people, we were a band, and I just played the guitar too. And we just had a band, and we used to perform to maintain our culture, our cultural song. And despite, you know, regardless of the limited resources, we used to collect the fund and show the people like some kind of song dances, so as to engage people, because living in a camp, having a lot of depression, you know, like just to get rid of from that, we used to kind of provide a kind of refreshment, free show. So I have my friends. He's in Australia, and he was very close to me. And hopefully, after I become a citizen, I have a plan to travel to Australia to see my friend and then say hi like that.
Play some music.
Exactly.
How long has it been since you've seen your friend there?
It's been 5, 6, 7, 8 years. I think 8 years. 8 years.
Do you guys still keep in touch, like via Skype or anything?
Yeah, we're in touch. But he says, yeah, come Australia. It's a beautiful place. And I do say, why don't you come to US? Beautiful place, I say. So he's already a citizen, so he's just planning to come. But in near future, that's my plan to go to Australia.
Do you still play music here?
Exactly. We have a band and like called Druk Fusion Band. Druk, that denotes our country, Bhutan. Druk means the word, okay? So Druk Fusion Band we have. And last year in Global Village Festival downtown, we played quite a few Nepali number. And these days, it's quite a few we have been playing, okay, because hard time to manage the time. Our band members, they're busy, busy schedule. Like Saturday, began the weekend also. I'm involved with my community association. I have to go there, attend the meeting. We have kind of planning what could be the next. So I have less time to give with my friends for the practice session. So we have been doing, but it's quite a few because of busy schedule. But we have the band.
That's very cool.
Do you know how to play any other instruments, or do you just focused on the guitar?
I just play the guitar, and I just compose Nepali music because so that in near future, even my kids, even my community people, let them feel that, yeah, Nepali music, yeah, we have to listen. This is our music, and this is from that point of view also. And, you know, some kind of let's say patriotic song that relates our story coming from Bhutan, how was the scenario, staying in the camp, back to US. There are some people, those who have got good literature in Nepali, they write the lyrics, okay? They like the lyrics, and they gave it to me, and I have composed few songs. Okay, that's what's a patriotic song, and soon we are trying to have a visualization just to go for a shooting, keeping a model, something like that, so that people they just know. So whenever I have a free time, I just give my time on composing. So basically, I just play on the guitar. Let's say I have a knowledge of composition, like how to compose a song. I just compose our Nepali music, let's say. And coming to US, I just love the blues music. Really, I just like that, and I'm just learning, taking the classes online, blues and rock music especially. Like I just like that. When I listen the band playing, even on YouTube, I just like that. So I'm just learning that also.
Can you tell us what your hopes and plans are for the future?
My plan, number one, is to become a US citizen, top priority. And after that, to have a self-sufficient life, like owning our own houses, running kind of business, and sitting with family, kind of like, I'm expecting less problem, because I had already gone through, I had a panic, when I was in camp due to such scenario, as I already narrated, okay? So I want to get rid of that. I want to give my family, this is life. Life we have to enjoy. If you enjoy, that's how you get, a kind of spirit comes on you that makes you feel, excited, and from that point of view also, you have to enjoy the life, not only struggle, not only the pain. So that's my, let's say, future plan, having our own resources. Well off now, there is no any problems with that, because I have my mom, I'm taking care of her, my spouse, my family, my relative, and I'm working as a community member. So even for the welfare of our community, of our people, that's my dream. Let our people feel that pride, let them feel that, I'm in the US, I'm happy, no any stress, no any depression. That's it.
Sounds like a good dream. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
As I said, I'm working for the community, Buddhist Community Association of Akron. I have been working, and we've been working out for the welfare of our community people, and hopefully we'll work out. And very recently, we're planning for a multicultural festival from our association. So with a motive that in our community also, there are different type of culture, and how to let other community people know that, Buddhist people, they have different culture, different dress, different language, different dances, to give a platform and to integrate other culture, cultural integration. So we're planning to do that, let's say, show, hopefully at the end of, let's say, September or October or November. Within that time, we're just figuring out, we're having a meeting. So I'm just giving a time, and hopefully whenever I have a spare time, I'd like to work for my community, okay? And hopefully I'll be working for the community also. And it's a great opportunity for me, for this platform, let's say, sharing my words, okay, in front of you all, like what was the past and what I'm doing. Thank you all, and especially great thanks to Greg, okay, for our time, because it was so tough for me to manage, and ultimately we did it and it happened. So thank you very much for you all for your time.
Well, we appreciate it.
We want to thank you for taking time out of your day.
It's my pleasure.
Willing to come here and talk to
It's
all
my
of us.
pleasure.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.